What is up, folks? Greetings, happy Saturday and all of that, and welcome, everybody. Welcome, live viewers, lurkers in chat, VOD viewers, everybody else. D, what's up? What's up? And Nico Jazz, thank you very, very much for your incredibly generous and continued support. 20 months of top-tier Skull Club membership. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much. I hope I can deliver appropriate levels of unspeakable horrors to make that worth your while. Oh, this is pretty loud. Let's turn that down a bit. So, it's Saturday. It's time for more streaming. And on the last stream on Wednesday, we got very close, apparently, to finishing up Fanmade Prince of Persia 2.5 : The Crystal Castle, which is a game towards which I have complex emotions, but I am enjoying it, and it didn't sit right with me, the idea of leaving it unfinished. So we're gonna just get right back on the horse, and we're gonna try to finish it today. With a little bit of sort of kind of save scumming towards the end, we made it to what I believe to be the final or close to final stage, where it's like, what, 5 minutes left or something? Now, it's been a few weeks since I played the first couple of levels, so certainly I don't remember the solutions to them or anything. But I reckon we'll get through them a little more smoothly. And I think, in the interest of getting through the entirety of the game and seeing all of it and getting to the finish, I'll probably employ a little bit of save scumming technology. I would just be a little frustrated, I think, in this particular, at this juncture, if we made it to the end of the game again and I didn't have enough time to finish it. So we're not necessarily going for like fully legitimate start to finish 1cc runs. You know, maybe in the future, who knows. But for now, I'm more concerned with not moving on without having seen the game through to the end, at least. What's up, BBC? Thank you very much. I'm feeling a lot better. So that's on the agenda. We're gonna take a stab at finishing the entirety of the game. We're certainly not going to uncover all of its secrets, because it certainly has... The level design and puzzle design is quite interesting. I think it's pretty good. Obviously, the game has certain bugs and weirdness that's going on that, you know, it's not the most polished. And I'm not even talking about the programmer MS Paint artwork, but just like the way certain things function can get a little wacky. Some of the design, some of the way that certain traps and puzzles work aren't super elegant in their execution, let's say. But the game is compelling. The game is compelling, and I think by and large it is... it just has a different design kind of philosophy or design sensibility than the original Prince of Persia. And that's fair enough. And I think it executes mostly well on what it's trying to achieve. And, I mean, frankly, it could have been a hell of a lot worse. I mean, when I first picked the game up, when I first took notice of this game, I had assumed that it was going to be a lot worse than it kind of ended up being. And, certainly, I feel it's worth my attention, worth my, giving it an honest attempt and seeing it through. So the game, the way it works, you know, obviously we'll see how things go with how much save scumming and whatnot we'll need. But the game does give you a time limit of 3 hours, right? So let's say I'm gonna stop to chat about stuff. We're gonna pause to talk about crap all, you know, every half hour to an hour or so, I'm sure. I'm gonna take a few breaks. But even if we were to play it beginning to end within that time limit, I would guess that's within 4 or 5-ish hours. Could be faster, could be longer if I get really sidetracked. But it's possible, if things go tremendously well, that we'll find ourselves with a little bit of time left over after finishing the game. I don't have a solid plan exactly for if we want to kick off something else, if that is the case. I mentioned previously that I did look into and prepare a handful of other ports of the original Prince of Persia. And the one I'm like the most eager to kind of take a look at, if only because I saw a glimpse of it and I found it intriguing, is the Game Boy version. I do have that on my EverDrive, sitting here literally in my Super Famicom, ready to go, and I'm actually kind of curious to check that out. But if there's time for it, maybe. If not, some other time. I am slowly transitioning into a full-time Prince of Persia streamer, it would appear. Not that it bothers me, of course. It's it's a game I hold very near and dear to my heart. But there's so much other shit to play. Look, this crap behind me. There's literal hundreds, in fact, 1,000 plus games just sitting there, and ain't gonna play themselves. Most of them, anyway. Maybe a few of them do, but most of them won't. So we'll see. We'll see. And of course, we still have the other 3D Prince of Persia games that I kind of want to get to. But that's neither here nor there. For today, our focus for sure is going to be on the Crystal Castle. Where we move from there in the coming weeks, time will tell. With that out of the way, oh yeah, I guess I should mention also, speaking of upcoming, goings on, we did of course reach the community challenge goal recently for the viewers choice versus fighting game bonus stream, and I did not really have I was not really able to set it up for this past Friday. So this upcoming Friday, what is it, the 11th, we will be doing more viewers choice fighting games, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. Those streams are always a great time. Should be fun. And on the topic of fighting games, the following week is of course the release of King of Fighters 15, which I am incredibly excited for. I'm really looking forward to playing that game, and most likely I will either be moving or doing an extra stream. One way or the other, we'll be streaming on the 17th when the game comes out, because I will be wanting to play it as soon as I can, and I will probably want to stream it. So I will probably want to stream that over, more than one stream for that matter. So my thoughts on, getting started on Prince of Persia Warrior Within, we'll see. I mean, hypothetically, I suppose it is possible that I could squeeze it in before KOF 15 comes out, but if not, I guess I would rather hold off on that a little bit than play like half of it and then get, caught up in KOF for a few weeks before coming back to it. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. For today, again, it's all about that Crystal Castle. So let me boot up the game and set up here. All right. Oh yeah, did I? Well, we'll see. Hop on over here for the stream. Right, so it's set to, wait, hang on. Shit, I forgot to okay, give me a sec, guys. I think my Xbox is probably set to 1440p. Well, I actually can get the, okay. The pass-through is still working, which is interesting. Let me just set up my settings here. Ah, yeah, I see. That makes more sense. It defaulted to 720 because the signal wasn't working. That's better. Hey, what's up, Sword Fam? Yes, the Citrus Castle. Amazing splash screen. Can I take a screenshot of that? Sure if that works. Press the right button, it might. There we go. All these fancy sharing features on modern consoles that I barely know how they work. Good luck. Thank you very much, D. I might need it. Oh shit, we uploaded it to the Xbox network. That's good. That's important. I'm sure that's good for something. So I feel like I should I should just take a look at this, if only to remind myself, because this game's controls, I would say, or not how they perform, but just like the control layout is one of those features that, like, you know, it's a little weird. Could have maybe been done better. For instance, the fact that the D-pad does not function at all, even in menus. You jump on Y, you crouch on A, you sneak on the right trigger, you pause on the left bumper, you confirm in menus on the right bumper, but I don't think it actually does anything in game. Oh yeah, you have to like manually. I keep wanting to say holster. I don't think you holster a sword. You sheath a sword, I guess, or you stick it in your pants pocket if you're Prince of Persia, I guess. You have to like manually like end the combat. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Oh, that's right, blocking. We kind of figured out the strat, the counter attack, like parry strats, which is to not ever use the counter attack because it's actually slower than waiting for the parry animation to end and then attack. So you know, the frame data a little suspect, but hey, pretty fun. So in the interest of actually having you know, time to actually do this proper, I could hypothetically, you know, load my save game from like level 6 and probably have enough time to finish the game. But fuck it, let's do it from the beginning. Of course, that's kind of loud. At least on mine. Oh yeah, I've got fucking double audio here. That's better. Once upon a time in ancient Persia, beloved Sultan ruled. What's up, soldier? Brought peace and prosperity to his kingdom. One beautiful autumn, while the Sultan was away, his only daughter fell in love with a blurry, weirdly proportioned young traveler. Love this screen. This made the Sultan's Grand Vizier Jafar very unhappy. Emphasis on very. Since he wanted to marry the princess himself. So the vizier threw the young man into the dungeons and seized power by setting an evil curse upon the kingdom. His intro rules. But the young man escaped. And defeated the evil vizier in an epic battle. Twice, in fact. It's so funny to me that, like, he's not very scrupulous about stealing art, but for some reason the Jafar and princess are just redrawn. The prince asked the princess her hand in marriage, and they lived happily for like a couple of days, I guess. Well, for a little while at least. Scrolling clouds thing, I guess. Not bad, not bad. One morning, while the prince was standing on the balcony, that's just mwah, the writing is just perfect. That's economic storytelling. An evil witch, Thou thought that defeating my disciple would be the end of it. Away with thee. Alright, just a big curly S, and now we're in a crystal. Going on a little trip. Bypass the title screen again for good measure. That's the funniest part of the intro. Alright, okay, that looked a little weird. Let's do it. I mean, the intro, obviously, like, it's reminiscent of kind of the way the intros to the original Prince of Persia games are, but it's just, the writing is very, I don't know, amateurish. Okay, there we go, that's level 1. Let's, oh, that's not how you save, that's, or how you pause, there you go. Let's, do it. Alright, that's fine. Dropping down there doesn't seem safe. So I don't think there's any fighting for a couple of levels. At least, okay, that's kind of weird. Might do some high drops, of course. I think we have to go here, but screw it, let's explore. I don't remember these early levels much. We don't get our sword for a while. Okay, that's like an exit door. Is this the exit? I mean, I guess this is like not really a real level. Yeah. We might have skipped a health extension over on the right. Well, I think I've got a better grasp of the combat. So if we miss a health extension here or there, I don't think it's a huge deal. There could have just been nothing over there too, I don't remember. Alright, cutscenes. In the meantime, back in Persia, the witch casts an evil spell upon the kingdom, which will soon bring about the kingdom's destruction. Very, very non-specific, but we get the gist of it. There we go. So now there's a time limit. Yeah, I don't think we missed anything important, so let's... Anything over here? I don't think there is. Witches. What's up, stranger? Yeah, you know, as long as they're doing, like, good spells, that's fine. But evil spells, I don't know, man. Alright, so that thing's gonna hurt us. That's funny, like, I can remember playing this level, but I don't remember a lot of specifics. That tile will drop, by the way, so you can't go down there. Right, you have... Oh, yeah, there's, like, right off the bat, there's so many of these, awkward... Oh, I think this is all, like, health extension type stuff, because you go around... Yeah, I don't think we need to go here, actually, at all. Yeah. That skeleton will eventually wake up and start fighting you. So that's the thing, like, these little fragments... come back to you as you're doing it, but... Until you, like, by the time you remember what's going on here or what it's good for... Is that literally just... healing? Because this is not an extension, right? Oh, no, that's right. There's a switch over here that will open a door at the end of the level. Yeah, like force damage. That's right, because last time we were here, like, I hadn't figured out how the crushers worked. Because you can jump past that crusher, it's just a little awkward. But if you sneak underneath the crushers, they won't activate. You're cool with witches? Yeah. So there's like a door on the left with a healing thing, and you have to like... Oh yeah, so I think we opened this door, actually. Okay, well now I kind of have to... but I think there's maybe an extension. Nah, there wouldn't be, it's just healing, I'm sure, because... No, okay. No, maybe it's... Pressed the wrong button there, but it worked out. Is there a checkpoint here? There is. Okay, good. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, because you can. I remember you. Once you get to the exit, you can just kind of literally run past the exit. It's kind of unusual, or well, different from the original anyway. I guess you can get an additional health extension. Yeah, see, that's the exit right there. Whoops. And the switch to open it is right there. But let's... Since you can go, I'm pretty sure there's another extension here. We're doing running jumps like that with no real... Fuck, I think that's right. I don't think I ever actually figured out how to get it. I could be wrong. There was that mouse. Yeah, so we're not gonna be able to go around. Okay. Yeah. This seems familiar. I never did figure out how to get that. So we did technically waste 2 minutes here, but whoa, that freaked me out. I thought for sure I would make that jump. Not worth like reloading and redoing the level over. Yeah, 5 minutes down on what, level 4? We're doing okay, I think. We did get the one extension, so... Ah, the controls. Yeah, I'll save over the same file for now. Should be fine. Definitely does trip me up still at the, all these little random decorations. Well, they are literally random. Oh, that's right. I remember this sick jump. This little thing with the little gap for you to grab onto in the middle of a wall. That doesn't really come back much later in the game. I'm just now realizing. Yeah, there's more of these, like, rats and stuff. There seems to be some kind of puzzle aspect to the rats, which I haven't quite figured out. But yeah, I kind of all these like the foreground elements and the pillars and stuff, like all that stuff is randomly placed. So alright, Alright, I guess I'll just... So you can't use any of it for kind of landmark, or like sort of... Oh, that's a risky jump. Like, dying and respawning will have a lot of that stuff just move around. It's strange. Can I go up here? I can, but... It's gonna take me around to this... Okay. I guess I got a gate and a switch up there. Okay, that's the exit, I guess. We have to take some kind of long way around. Okay, going up here was completely needless. And that's the thing that this game does for sure. Like, there's a lot of... Levels are large and sprawling. A lot of it seems to be kind of dead ends, or... In some cases, even sort of alternate routes, like rooms that just connect in multiple ways for no apparent reason. Let's be careful here. There we go. I guess I'll jump over there. Cool jump. Okay, this looks vaguely familiar. I think... Going up there would take me to the exit, so this is maybe like optional stuff that may or may not lead to... Yeah, see the little rat hole thing in the wall there? No, that's a bad jump. I pressed the B button. That's right, you can't do that. Alright, so at this point... That's not gonna work. At this point, I'm... considering... myself to be fully in data collection mode, which means right now I'm more concerned with finding out what's going on and where stuff is than completing the level, because I've died enough and kind of wasted enough time that I would prefer to redo the level. I mean, I'd say it's far from unlikely that we would just die anyway. What I want to do is basically scope out both what we can find, but especially in the case where I can't quite figure out how to access any of it, just to kind of know that, well, we can just ignore that then and focus on let's get into this. So there's a health extension there. You see that little rat down there? You'll spook it if you go down, and it'll go right. And I guess... I don't know if we can see it, but I guess it'll go into that little hole. Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, I think... damn close, but... it's possible that you could make it out in time. But gates open and close so, like, insanely quickly in this game that, it's kind of a risky proposition. Ran a few steps too far there. So I'm pretty sure on my previous play, I should have grabbed that thing. I'm pretty sure that I skipped that extension. Because I couldn't figure out how to get it. And knowing how tight it is, even if I determine that I can do it, on what would be my real attempt at finishing this stage, the odds of actually getting that right and completing it, assuming there isn't some other trick to it, I could quite likely mess that up. So I think my current strat is going to be to ignore it. So let's instead focus on finding our way to the exit. So probably the lower route there is actually faster. When we did that other climb, we saw where the exit was, and of course I don't remember exactly, but it's on kind of above. Climb up a bunch to get to it, so it's probably around here somewhere. Right, there's a skeleton there, and we're gonna need a sword to get past it. Or at least we're not getting past it without a sword. I don't know if we're actually gonna... if clearing this level involves getting around the skeleton. I think it does, because I remember messing around with trying to sort of kite it around and change its position. Not necessarily successfully. Yeah, there's another rat down there. Oh, right. I was gonna say, there's like a bunch of swords. Alright, this one looks good. We can now, and I think once we get to the where that skeleton is with the sword, I think that's like a checkpoint. But I also have a recollection that there's not much left of the level after that. Alright, so we spook that mouse. Well, there's no way I can make any kind of jump across there. There is... surely there is stuff below here. Well, fuck it. We're in research collection phase here. We'll survive that. Okay. Well, I survived the fall, but we're stuck. Kind of messed up level design. Anyway, yeah. I wonder, like, clearly you can, well, I guess we... well, I'm gonna load, because this might be our real attempt here, so I'm gonna load here. Hey, what's up, Lemsar? We're doing alright here. We're starting a new playthrough. That series of jumps and drops, like, so incredibly satisfying. We got to the end of the game, more or less, last time. And ran out of time on what I believe to be the last, or maybe second to last level. So, doing a new playthrough, being a little more efficient, we should hopefully be able to do things just fine. Right. So, going up here is the road towards progress. But we need to go down to collect the sword first. Yeah, so the little mouse holes, whatever, like... clearly, you see, the mouse runs away, and there's a little hole, but... does that mean, do they, like... is that mouse now going to be in some other place in the level? And can I trigger it to run across some other switch? I feel like I don't want to say there has to be something like that, but I feel like it would make sense for there to be something like that. At least in terms of how I'm kind of calibrated to think based on the level and puzzle design of the original games. having something where you can sort of, where we found the other mouse who can open a door for you, giving you almost but not quite enough time to go grab a health extension potion. Let's see what's over here. Okay. I don't think I can. Yeah, I can't back out. Like, giving you enough hope that it could be possible that you want to try it over and over, but it isn't actually possible. In fact, like, if it's close like that, usually it seems to be a reasonable assumption that there's actually some actual, like, puzzle solution to it. But in this game, you never know. Maybe it is just supposed to be, like, very awkward and you have, like, a 0.2 second margin of error. But I'm not going to tempt fate by trying it. We have our 4 little Christmas bulbs. That means that there are 2 health extensions in this stage, and I'm not getting either of them because I don't know how to get them. I wonder if that switch that we saw on the far end of the screen with the other mouse down there, maybe that one opens the other, but how the hell would you... Well, actually, maybe you could just sort of jump. I don't think I tried just jumping up and down on the floor. Like, it doesn't make sense when the floors aren't connected to each other that, that jumping like this would, like, sort of set off a loose tile on a completely different part of the screen. But I think that is how it works in this game. I think in the original, you will only shake loose tiles if they're physically connected, like so. But I'm not sure about this game. So, I'm assuming this is some kind of a secret thing. Oh yeah, we might actually have not gotten through here, because when I played this the first time, I don't think I'd learned that you can sneak under these at this point. I would just, like, jump past them. Well, there's health here. Oh, okay, I see there's a little thing there. Oh, okay, I think I actually... I think this actually might give us that... Put us... Yeah, exactly. It's gonna put us here, and it's gonna put us much closer. Damn close, but we... Yeah, okay, cool. Sick, we actually got it. The expense of a little more time spent, but we learned more of this game's inscrutable secrets, so it's a trade I'm willing to make. Yes, Gnewborg, this game is available free of charge on the Xbox and Windows Store. There is an Android version too, I believe, which I guess you can download directly from the developer's website. It's certainly caught my attention. Alright, so enemies early on aren't like super threatening anyway. But the controls, the combat controls are a little funky, so but yes, it is peculiar. I know that Microsoft has had a very open kind of developer environment for the Xbox ecosystem. Like you can put apps and stuff. Oh wait, okay, so that's full health, I think. Mystery exit up there. So I don't think this is not the. This is not the stage where we ride the cloud to get out of the mountain. That's where we're getting there soon enough. Trying to swap places. Oh, okay. It's a little weird. So I think we're just like fucked because I can't remember if these guys are unkillable or not in this. Whatever, I guess that works. Because there's like you can get like retro art or whatever on Xbox. Okay, so that is the exit, and the right-hand side is where we've already been. I pressed the B button. I don't know if anything would benefit you from going over there. But going here takes us out of the level, so... We got one health extension, which is plenty. So let's just move on. What's up, Track Zero? Yeah, the fights, some of them are definitely... I would say the fighting is one of the more kind of dodgy elements of this game, for sure. Yeah, 168 minutes. I want to say that there's nothing up here, but we'll see. I'm gonna definitely have to sort of... I've like I said before, we got to the end of the game. No, I think we go... Okay. And ran out of time, so we're redoing it now. But it's been like 2 weeks since I played these levels. Yeah, because this is when I first learned how this works, that you can sneak under it. Like, ah, I see. Alright. Yeah, this is like kind of a tricky... The way the door timers work, the timer starts when the door has like finished opening. So by kind of using the time that the door spends opening and closing, it actually significantly extends, and in many cases crucially extends the time that you actually have to get through them. Well, yeah, I mean the graphics, the graphics are what they are. They're kind of self-explanatory, but it actually plays well. Like it's got some interesting level design, and but the physics, the behavior of the game is like predictable and consistent, which is the most important thing, really. Which, I mean, there's more than can be said for more than a handful of official ports of the original. Okay, so I have a feeling that's all. Well, maybe not. I was gonna say optional stuff. Maybe not. But yeah, like you have the programmer art backgrounds and everything, and then you have all these like awkwardly ripped assets from other games that look terrible. They're like scaled differently. The prince is like blurry. The skeletons are like from Prince of Persia 2. There's other enemies in the later stages that are also from Prince of Persia 2, but they're not from the Mac version, so they're like different screen resolution. Because this is the prince from the Mac version of 1. But even then, it's not like they're exactly twice the size or anything either. It's just like fully weird. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna wait for it to close. Oh, I guess that doesn't matter because I still have to like sneak through. I can't, yeah, see. Alright, but probably if I... You can't, yeah, crouching in front of doors is a little bit strange in this. Like, the behavior is definitely not consistent with the original game, but it is internally consistent. It's reliable. Because every version of the original Prince of Persia that's like weird and hard to play is so because you can't rely on anything. You can't rely on the game behaving consistently. I don't know what that opened, but if it's this far away, I won't have time to do it. Yeah, some of the physics interaction are really weird with like clipping through floors and sort of snapping to platforms and stuff. Like it's kind of weird. But it won't really, well, for the most part, it won't screw you over by failing to respond in the way you would expect. I wanted to double check if something would spawn or something. But no, just a weird little dead-end hallway. The green cloud gave me full health. Beyond that, your guess is as good as mine. Did it do something else? I don't know. My favorite version of the original is the remake. I'm not a big fan of it myself. I mean, it's like fine, and I think the changes to it are probably. I think that version of the game, Prince of Persia Classic, is probably kind of exactly what it needed to be. For what that, like... oh, I think we're gonna probably maybe drop a tile on top of that switch. That makes more sense. So Prince of Persia Classic is a remake of the original Prince of Persia that is kind of aesthetically based on Sands of Time. Like the character model for the prince. Oh. Whoa, okay. Alright, so if I jump here. Yeah, see? They're not connected, but we're on the same floor. Yeah, that hit the switch. There's an X. Whoa, fuck. Okay, I should not have done that. Just as I was remarking on there being an exit up. Well, I probably fucked up. I wasn't kind of necessarily expecting to finish this stage without restarting it anyway, so that's fine. Okay, so that's back here. That's like the beginning of the stage. Oh, the stages are so sprawling. Yeah, there's also super loose tiles like that in this game, which as soon as you interact with them, they fall instantly. That's a regular loose tile. Macross.js, what's up? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, the Super Nintendo version is really, really good. It's not my favorite for a few reasons. I like it a lot. Well, to put it another way, there are aspects of it that I don't quite like. I don't think it's the best looking version. It's got some slowdown. Some of the music and sound is a bit iffy. And arguably, it's maybe a little bit too long. I don't think that's a problem, per se. But, I think the original is really fun to play through in a single sitting. And the Super Nintendo version, just on account of being longer, it's harder. But it's a great game. I would absolutely recommend. I mean, especially if you're already a fan of Prince of Persia and you haven't played it, I would absolutely recommend playing the Super Nintendo version just because it's got so much cool. I mean, it's easily the version with the most unique stuff in it. Johnny Plays Games, what's up? Well, this is exactly what it says on the screen. This is the fan-made Prince of Persia 2.5, the Crystal Castle, as featured on the Xbox. You can pretty easily distinguish between what artwork for this game was made originally by the developer and what art was taken from someplace else. So the character sprite for the prince is taken from the Mac version of the original game. The skeleton here, I believe, is from the DOS or maybe Super Nintendo version of Prince of Persia 2. And there's some other stuff that's very obviously not drawn by the same person also. Yeah, I remember... Well, I guess we're just completing this level now, even though we messed up. So when you... yeah, right, you should just run past these guys, but... He hit me afterwards. Yeah, the way... These guys are just gonna spawn in the same spot. Like, when you load a checkpoint, stuff doesn't reset to the way it was. Man, I'm so annoyed. I figured out a thing I didn't figure out the last time, but because I accidentally moved forward, I missed my chance of reaping any kind of reward from it. Yeah, I think the music is taken from Prince of Persia 2, because the original Prince of Persia doesn't have a lot of music. I mean, it doesn't have, like, continuous background music for them. Well, I mean, some versions do, the console versions, but... So... This actually... Granted, you know, someone can be a programmer and musician and not a graphical artist, but I don't think this is original music. I'm almost certain the intro just uses the music from the intro to Prince of Persia 2, but I could be wrong. Yeah, see, so those bones are down there now. Whoops! That's fine. That's fine. I pressed the wrong button. Alright, so the better way of doing this is to just, do that. But yeah, you can like trick enemies into walking into pits Golden Axe style, which is pretty satisfying. So I did drop a thing on a Switch, which could very well have, I don't know, maybe it enabled me to get to what would have opened the Switch in that gate, but hold on. So if you didn't watch previous streams, this is not my first time playing this. I played through this game right to very close to the end before running out of time over the last few weeks. And, because I ran out of time, I'm starting a new playthrough. Okay, so I just wanted to check now, because we are 155 minutes. 60, that's like 13 minutes. A lot. That's a long time. I mean, I feel like I wasted a lot more time on my first playthrough, and I still... you can't... I forget how you do it. But you can make it past there. It's really wonky. You'd never see an interaction like this in the original game. Oh, I think I should have... Maybe if I go to the very, very edge and jump. Maybe I'm thinking of another room, but I definitely know there's rooms with loose tiles like that where... Oh, that's right. Yeah, you gotta... That's how you do it. Oh, what's up, Blowporch? I'm doing just fine, thank you. You obviously can't go back the way you came if you go here. Well, I guess there's just literally fucking nothing here. Unless, wait, can I go up here? Yeah, I guess I can. Is this some kind of weird shortcut? Oh, the level layouts in this game are... crazy. Oh, okay, so yeah, okay, I can get back there. Okay. Oh, yeah, maybe this is just a little detour for a health extension then. That would make sense. Yeah. Okay. Can I make that jump? I can. That's satisfying. Well, given that we can get this and probably still do this. This might... Probably still complete the stage with a better time. I would say it's worth redoing this level. I'm not gonna obsess about redoing every stage until I can do it deathless or perfectly necessarily. But I would prefer to do a little bit better than last time. And yeah, the game is definitely a bit of a mess, but it's it plays well and it's got a lot of interesting ideas. Let's redo that again, I guess. Okay, let's... Yeah, the way you can sort of snap forwards by... I mean, that's pretty cool the way we got stuck there. How do I get such clear audio without headphones? Well, I have a decent mic, which doesn't pick up too much. So I have a Audio Technica. I don't know the model number. It's a USB mic. I used to stream with a headset mic. But I don't like wearing a headset for like extended periods of time. It gets really uncomfortable. So I have my, you know, somewhat crappy desktop PC speakers. But I've sort of tuned the settings of the mic in OBS and whatnot to not, like, I keep the audio low enough that it doesn't get picked up by the mic. And I guess that's like the, like, if you have a good, well, not even good, like a decent mic, you can usually, and as long as you don't crank up the audio, like, because if I were to raise my audio a lot, you would get a lot of echo because the audio would come through the mic as well. I'm certainly no expert, but it's what I've been kind of been able to achieve just messing with it. And then there's, as far as like the mic audio, there's I have a couple of filters with like an EQ filter and stuff like that to make it sound well, about as nice as I can. But audio engineering is like an entire, well, it's a science and an art form, and I'm an amateur at best. It's definitely tricky to get right. But I'm happy to hear you think my audio sounds good. So I'm gonna still drop this. Well, actually, just a pit down there. Couldn't really be anything, could there? Oh, whatever. I'll do it anyway. The thing that honestly is the trickiest when it comes to audio, though, is mixing, getting audio levels decent. Especially like me, if you're playing off of a lot of different consoles and sources that all may or may not have similar audio levels. Or even, like, with PC stuff, it's actually kind of the worst, because like, just different games and applications can have completely different audio levels. And there's stuff you can do to a degree to help mitigate some of those issues, with at least setting, like, limiters and stuff to prevent, like, I have a, like, right now, I run everything, basically, which is like the simpleton, non-ideal way of doing it, but everything comes through my Windows desktop audio. Everything that isn't my mic. So if I have to adjust audio levels on stuff, I can't really mix different sources in OBS, because as far as OBS is concerned, it's all the same. Nor do I have a separate software or hardware mixer, which is kind of what you would really want. But it can get really costly and convoluted once you get into all of that stuff. So that's stuff that I haven't really... I've been kind of keeping blissfully unaware. So yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with Blue microphones, but obviously they're quite popular. Like, the mic I have isn't really, as far as I'm aware, completely, like, this is just for the full health thing. I really don't need to go here. It's not designed to be omnidirectional per se, but it's also not like it'll only pick up audio directly from in front of it, you know? Well, this seems to not be where I'm supposed to go. Did I go here last time? I did, yeah, okay. But there wasn't, like, a lot to it in my case. Like, I basically just, set things up and it mostly worked, you know? But yeah, like, a lot of people will, you know, use headphones to get... Like, if you do this in a professional setting, you would have headphones to loop the audio back, like the broadcast audio, so you can hear what things sound like. Because that's the other thing. Like, as far as mixing goes and audio levels, the best I have to go on is the little bars in my OBS window, right? And those don't necessarily tell the whole story. Okay, so I passed by a gate before a healing potion, did I not? Or a health extension? Is it possible that this gate opens that one up previously? Yes, that is possible, but no, I will not go check on it. But I will go through here. But I have, so there is... Fuck's sake. Well, I guess I didn't really miss anything from skipping this. So my microphone has a headphone jack on it, and if I have to use headphones, or if I want to use headphones on my PC, that's where I plug them in. But it's that will feed back the audio from the mic into that headset, which kind of drives me nuts. Alright, so the checkpoints here. But yeah, long story short, like audio is, I would say, one of the most complicated parts of streaming, because, like, yeah, as far as, like, visual production, as far as editing, as far as, like, production, that's the wrong button. If you press the B button, you just exit out to the menu. It's a little weird. Obviously, the ceiling for how high you can take things as far as, like, visual production is extremely high. And more notably higher, like, if you compare someone streaming at, you know, my level, I forget. That's where I go. If you compare a stream like this with, like, an actual professionally well-produced stream or whatever, yeah, of course, you would notice maybe a bigger difference in terms of how things look more than you would notice how they sound. But as far as, like, getting from a shitty level to an actual decent level with audio, like, you can kind of get by with something that looks extremely basic, right? But with sound, I think, and I'm saying this as someone who barely knows what they're doing. There's a lot to it, and it's kind of tricky to get right. And for my money, like, a stream that has, like, low resolution or poor picture quality or extremely basic production, you know, if the content is interesting, you know, that's still fine. But if the audio is bad, if you can't hear what's going on, or if the mic quality is just terrible, that will put me off watching a stream sooner than just about anything, I think. Yeah, with headphones, I don't know. I have a pair of Bluetooth headphones that I use for listening to podcasts when I'm just out. And I like those fine, but I usually don't wear them for more than an hour or two at a time at most. 158. So we saved 3 minutes at least, and we got an extra health, so... I guess I saved. There's no feedback. Yeah, I can't really use, like, in-ear headphones. I've never been able to... I've never used ones that I've found comfortable enough to use. Like, I had some that came with a phone or something, I forget. And, they came with, nubs of, like, 4 different sizes. And I used the smallest ones, and they were like uncomfortable to the point of being painful. So I'm not talking about them being bad or low quality or whatever. It's just like physically, it's a cool jump. They're like painful to use for me. But even like, you know, I've never, because I don't like headphones that much. Yeah, and they fall out. I had to like constantly like readjust them to like for a period I had a pair of copper headphones that like broke, and I had to use my phone once for a while before I could replace them with the headset that I have now. And that was a constant thing. Like, as soon as they're not, like, perfectly snug, the audio, like, you lose, like, all the bass and whatever. Like, I don't know. I just don't like that style at all. It just don't work well for me. But because, I don't know, it's one of those things where I've never really felt... Like, the pair of headphones I have right now, the Bluetooth ones, like, they're by far the most expensive... the most I've spent on something like that. And even that was like, you know, 100 euros maybe. Not expensive by the standards of that kind of audio equipment. But I'd feel very hesitant to spend like hundreds of euros. Not really knowing if it's something that I would like know the difference or be happy with. Dude, I'm definitely blocked. Switch places with me, will ya? There we go. The hitboxes in the combat are really strange. It's another thing I just realized. So in this game, the parry counterattack thing from the original is there, but it's kind of useless because waiting for the blocking animation to finish and then just doing an attack is faster than actually doing the counterattack from the parry. But the reason why that works better isn't just because of the speed, but it's also because blocking doesn't actually push you back in this game, which it does in the real games. But yeah, I mean, I guess my basic thoughts on anything to do with audio equipment is like, if it works, it works. So we found the exit, and it's kind of looking like we're not going to be able to... Well, okay, there could still be a lot more to explore. I should have gone up there, okay. That looks familiar. Yeah, I was going to say, but I think we're getting close-ish to the end. Maybe not if there's a checkpoint here, but that's fine. Checkpoint's a checkpoint, that's not a bad thing. So... Oh, the levels are just so... It's like almost exhausting playing this game, because the levels are so large. So just trying to mentally map where things are and where you can go. A lot more to keep track of. So I think this actually leads to the exit, eventually. Maybe not quite. Well, I'll just go wherever. Instead of stopping to think, I'll just push forward. Okay. Not exactly what I intended, but... Let's not stand directly beneath that when we do that again. Well, we can go up here at least. Like, I think by the time I got to the end of the game last time, I had somewhere around 8 or 9 health vials, so... Like, frankly speaking, if this is it, if we don't get more than... Oh yeah, I think I tried... Yeah, that's scary, because that could actually push you off the ledge. if this is it, like, I think... I don't know. I was told that there's some kind of boss at the end. Maybe you want to have as much health as you can when you get there. But beyond that, I think I'm not desperate for more health. They just go on for so far. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Okay, well, let's see what's over here instead. Oh, right! Ah, yes, I remember this part. Okay, so... that means... okay, so maybe the door we passed before is not the exit. We definitely have to go to the right. Well, there's a ledge thing there for you to drop down.
Unspeakable horror.
Goldie with 36 months of getting impaled. 36, I think, well, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that earns you a new skull rank, but you've ascended beyond the need for a skull. So you're a founder or whatever. You got a bunch of icons next to your name. Nevertheless, thank you very much for your continued support. Appreciate it. Alright, check this shit out. Oh, there we go. Physics. Now there's a little bridge here. Oh, I think... no, I don't think we're done. This is the final, See, the door continued to open while I was respawning, by the way? Yeah, the respawning is weird. I need to find the potion. So, like, the bridge is gonna be down now, too. Yeah, I'm not doing... well, I guess I'm okay on time. 150 means we've spent 1/6 of the time, and we're almost halfway through the game, so I guess it should be fine. Even these things, somehow, even though I died after breaking them, as soon as you get to a checkpoint, shit starts behaving very strangely in terms of, like, persistence. Anyway, I could be misremembering here, but I believe this is the stage where we want to get to the top and jump onto that cloud, in which case we need... oh, no, I could go up here. We need a particular potion. Yeah, I ran off of this ledge in the next screen. That's what killed me, right? Oh, let's go up here. Yeah, as expected. That's... wait, hang on. So you can come from the top right. In fact, we might have to. Or not. Who knows? Nope, okay. Those interactions are a little weird, but they're still... the small but very crucial details of how satisfying it feels to grab a ledge. This game just nails. And if you have that, then you're like 65% of the way there. With a good Prince of Persia games. With a good Prince of Persia game, singular, rather. Alright, see ya. Just a healing. This looks kind of conspicuous. Skull test. Oh yeah, you got the weird flaming skull that still doesn't look very good. I think you're actually I think you're the first person to get it. So I think at the time when I updated, when I got all the different sub icons, I just wanted to make sure that they were like all there. And some of them didn't look great, so I was like, you know what? I'll worry about this when someone earns it, which I guess is the case. Smell with sideburns. Well, you should. You're just. I guess you're 6 months away from the ice skull. There it is. Have I played Prince of Persia 3D? Yes, I did play that when it was new, and I remember really liking it. And I was very perplexed at some point, finding out that apparently the general consensus on the internet seemed to be that it was not a good game. So ever since then, and that was many years ago, I've definitely had this itch to revisit it. Like, the thing is, as far as I can kind of recall, it is it's like a pretty faithful, like mechanically and sort of how it feels. Like it's a lot closer to the original game than any of the subsequent games were. Which, you know, for better or for worse, arguably, I happen to love the original games and I like them better than the 3D games. But if you found the original 2D games a little too clunky, a little too punishing, you know, having it in 3D where it's arguably clunkier, sure, I can see why that wouldn't be that appealing. But it is, I mean, it is a late 90s 3D action game. So, I've been playing a bunch of Prince of Persia games recently, and as part of that endeavor, I have also been looking into a lot of these other versions that I've yet to get around to playing on stream. Prince of Persia 3D being one of them. And indeed, it is, is this the correct way? I'm supposed to go to the right at some place. Prince of Persia 3D on the PC does not play nicely with modern systems. Okay. Well, I mean, it'll get us down here at least. There are workarounds, but they seem fairly convoluted. But the information is out there. Oh, there's another checkpoint here. I guess we could get here, not realizing that you need the potion. And die. It's nice. Yeah. Thou shalt not fly without the white elixir. Misspelled, but that's fine. So you have to collect the white elixir. But yeah, if you go to, I think it's popuw.com, Prince of Persia unofficial website, which is an incredibly 90s as video game website. It has a bunch of pages with like guides and links. Like, you have to install like several different patches and jump through a number of more or less convoluted hoops. I took a look at it and determined that I will do this eventually, but I have other games that I want to play more kind of urgently. We played through Sands of Time recently, and I want to play through Warrior Within and Two Thrones. Probably the 08 game too, and forgot. Well, basically every other 3D Prince of Persia. Before I get to that, so I felt like, you know, I'm not gonna bother doing all this work. There we go. right now. But there are resources out there for what you need to do and how to get it all set up. This shit is like one of the coolest parts of the game, by the way. Cutting down the bridge, you get the potion to ride the cloud. It's a very Prince of Persia-esque thing. You get this little cinematic, and I guess this is the Crystal Castle, the Citrus Castle. Yeah, get ready for the yellow levels. Fuck it, we'll save over here. So just out of curiosity, by the way, this is my old save from my first playthrough. Yeah, I was at 124 here, and now we're at 143 here, so we're, what, 20 minutes ahead. But yeah, there's the specific feel of the kind of precision required, and the way every single sort of jump and ledge grab feels so dangerous, and there's this kind of perilous feel to everything is very specifically what I find the most engaging about these games. And because none of the modern games really retain that. Fucked up here. I've never liked them as much. But again, revisiting Sense of Time, I actually really enjoyed it. It's a great game, but the combat kind of sucks, and it's just a very different type of game. For me, it's a fun game, but it fundamentally scratches a very different itch than these games do. And that's exactly why I'm not the biggest fan of PoP Classic either, because the levels and the mechanics are, of course, you know, taken from the original. But everything has kind of been run through this Sense of Time filter, where aesthetically, of course, you have the, not just like the character design and like the tile sets are kind of Sense of Time-esque, which is, you know, probably the least of its problems. But it has, the movement is like more, it's sort of like smoothed out, and you do like, you know, they try to like, they didn't like completely change all the mechanics, now everything works, but they try to basically, it's sort of like transposing like the Sense of Time Prince into the original game with his sort of parkour abilities and movement and animation style. And it's like, it plays fine, but it's just like they sort of sanded it down so there's like no friction left, and it's very smooth, and there's like several different things in place to make the game easier. Like the controls, the smoothness of the movement, like that stuff kind of just makes the game like smoother to play, which again, to most people probably would be, if not an explicitly good thing, at least not an explicitly bad thing. But for me, I think it robs the game of some of its, like, the specifics that create the feel that makes it so compelling. Because yeah, like you could die at any second. There's like a, it's so hard to put in words, because it's not just that like, oh, it's punishing and you'll, you know, you have to redo the level if you die. Like, it's just the feel of it. It just, the act of, you know, whether it's sword fighting or grabbing ledges, there's a sort of texture to how the interactions feel. I believe this is an optional area. And by replacing both the visuals and a lot of the feel in PoP Classic with something closer to Sense of Time, as I said, I don't think it was an incorrect decision from kind of a market standpoint. I would have to imagine that did pretty well. I guess we want to go to the right, but I have to wait for the diamond. But it means that I won't like it as much. I have it, you know, I wouldn't mind replaying it on stream, because, you know, it's, what, 30 minutes to play through. But PoP Classic, like, it also, like, in addition to the controls making it kind of smoother, the camera is also a little funky because, you know, obviously it still has, like, the discrete screens like this. It's not, like, scrolling or anything. So I believe we can now go up. Well, we'll see. But because, of course, it's like in 16:9, like the screen proportions and everything is a little bit different. So the way they did it in that game is basically, you have the tiles, or the, you know, everything's on a grid, right? So, and actually this game too sort of does a little bit of that, where you can see a little bit of what's outside. Like, you can see that there are cracked tiles on the floor above us right now, for example. In Prince of Persia, the original, can I go here now? There are certain puzzles and levels that, in my mind, are designed fairly explicitly around that not being the case. There's a particular place in fairly early level where you have to make a blind jump, but it's not completely a blind jump. It's a blind jump in the sense that you have to jump over a screen transition onto a platform that you can't see, but you can deduce that there will be a platform there, because you can go below, you can go down, and you can see. In fact, you probably have already been below there, and will see that there are, you know, there's a structure there. So, like, you can figure out that, yeah, logically there should be something for me to land on here. So the game is kind of expecting you to figure that out. I mean, of course, you can just make the blind jump regardless, and just happen to, oh, okay, I can land there. That's fine. But that is kind of a subtlety of the level design that gets glossed over, because in the classic version, you can see that the platform's there. It's no longer a blind jump, because you can actually just see the platform, because you can see much more than in this game. Like, you can basically see an entire full tile of the next screen. I think this is what opened up. I didn't need it, but since we got it, I might as well grab it. So again, you know, does that make the game worse? It makes it easier. It makes it, like, smoother to play. Yeah, but it's kind of, it's changing something that didn't need changing. There's also, like, a hint system where there are these, it's like a, you know, glowing butterfly or something. So I'm supposed to go up. So there's no like figuring out where to go or trying where to go. Like I do believe you can turn off the hint thing, little fairy, whatever it is. But to me, it's just like, I don't know, it feels like almost overkill, the amount of different... For me, as someone who absolutely loves the original game and does not consider it in need of changes to make it easier. Oh, that was a little weird. Did I not do this already? I guess not. All of those sort of changes and stuff they added to PoP Classic to me is like not necessary and arguably not good. But of course, you know, a lot of people will find the original Prince of Persia a little intimidating. Oh, that's probably OpenSea. Yeah, okay. So I won't fault anyone for preferring PoP Classic. Right, so that trap up there is going super fast, so we have to step on that button on the left to slow it down. Okay. That went down pretty quick. Yeah, let's do that. So we already got one more health extension than I was expecting to get on this level, or was planning on, which was 0. So let's just get to the end of the level here. A weird enemy placement. Like, the enemies are used in kind of a peculiar way in this game. There we go. So that should just be heading right for the exit. It's a good thing, because I was thinking, like, maybe I shouldn't jump. Like, in the off chance that I will jump into something on the next screen, let's just run through the trap. If I jump, there's a non-zero chance that I would have jumped right into the crusher. Which I'm pretty sure happened on my last playthrough. Alright, level 9. We're making rapid progress here. I guess I don't need my level 5 save, but oh well. So I just do it. There's like hardly any jumps like that in the original game, especially not right on the screen. There's a lot of weird jumps right on the screen transitions in this game. But yeah, as I mentioned before, like, you can kind of tell that I'm Grebnev, who made this game. Just wanted to put some of those sick jumps in. And can't blame them. They're pretty sick. Just a little scary. What the heck? Alright, so at least one of those tiles is going to be loose, right? Yeah. Doesn't appear to... Okay, I was gonna say to help us in any way. It didn't land on a switch, though. Alright, okay, so that's not where you dropped out. That's fine. That's fine. Just doing a little bit of research. Of course, like, the level... You know, the tile sets and like lack of distinguishing features also make the levels quite interchangeable. Like, it makes it harder. You know, it's funny. We were when I was playing Metroid Dread, that was one of the things I was kind of complaining about in that game, right? I like the game a lot overall, but compared to the other 2D Metroid games, one thing that I felt Dread was kind of not as successful at was creating a memorable space and like okay. I can goad him into stepping closer to. Oh, okay. I think I. What the heck? I mean, I haven't. I thought. Okay. No. Okay. I thought for a second. Yeah. Yeah, that's a weird thing. So, the game has like some kind of a. I don't even know what to call it. Auto adjust, like timing running jumps. As you saw, you clearly can do them too early, but it seems like there's some kind of a grace period where if you do a running jump a little, like one tile too early or so, it'll actually delay the jump so you do the running jump at the very edge of the platform. Because I was like deliberately trying to go early and it still jumped at the very edge. And I kind of felt something like that before. It's a very interesting thing. Because, like, for the most part, without thinking about it too hard, I haven't had trouble making jumps. I've fucked up jumps, sure, but that's been my own fault. This is what am I doing? Yeah, dude, I was holding that, like, 2 tiles early, and the jump still did not happen. Which is kind of cool. I mean, it's like... more often than not, that's going to actually be helpful. Because... And I mean, as long as... As long as, as long as the level layout's designed... Of course. Because you have to make use of the time spent actually opening the door to get through it. Like, hypothetically, there are cases where... Whoa, okay. Like, you could design a level or a puzzle where you want to jump early, but for the most part. Like, though, that's really the only situation in which you would want to specifically jump before the ledge. So... Whew, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say there's no... Makes sense, I need to do a running jump here, so they need to give me at least 3 tiles. Yeah, see, even there, like, he sort of snaps into the jump. It's very hard to explain. Oh, that's... Is there anything up here? There's a lot of little nuances to how the controls work. And for the most part, it's really good. The only thing that my biggest critique is that you can't use the D-pad, which is just absurd. Outside of that, some of the button like designations are also quite bizarre, but I have a sword, right? Yeah. I don't need that one. I think you just want to do a running jump here. Yeah, I was gonna say, that was loose. The way the sneaky step worked there. Whoa, okay. A lot of little, I guess red herrings isn't exactly the right word for it, but... the level design just has a kind of... sprawlingness to it that's... It's expressed in a lot of different ways. Sorry, I think I didn't quite, I just realized I didn't quite finish what I was saying about Metroid. Sorry, I keep getting sidetracked when weird shit happens. There's a combination of factors that contributes to that effect, in my opinion. But both, like, the, at least in the first half of Metroid Dread, it sort of changed in the second half, but... Wow, okay, that's kind of cool that that worked. But, like, each individual area doesn't really have a strong visual or thematic identity. Oh wow, the corkscrew bridges. Great sound. Yo, what's up, Sharpie? Yeah, this game is the visual beast. It's actually a good game, though. So you have, like, the, I shouldn't have done... Okay, that could have been dangerous. Oh yeah, that's not true here. But it's not just the you know, the lack of a distinct, unique tile set or whatever. It's also stuff like the geographical relationship. Nope. Okay. I wanted to, like, stop. I should just not do a running jump there. Where, like, the physicality of taking the elevators between the different areas and having the map, like in Super Metroid or in Fusion or any of the other games, really, like, there's a bunch of these different sort of elements that all contribute to giving you the ability to sort of mentally map the game world, and you see not just tile sets, but other commonalities to how rooms are shaped and laid out in a particular area. And, you know, how the areas physically are related to each other, etc. That make it easier to sort of compartmentalize mentally, you know, which area is which and how they relate to one another. Let's see what's over to the left. And when things get a little more interchangeable in terms of, you know, room shape, in terms of tile sets and themes and whatever, like, you end up with a situation where it gets kind of difficult to distinguish one from the other. And you could say, you know, regardless how similar you feel this game is to something like Metroid Dread, that particular quality is something that is present in this game as well. All right. There. Go up, that's right. Because obviously the original Prince of Persia, like, yeah, it's got, you know, a few tile sets. But they do create, like, not every dungeon level feels the same. A lot of the time, all it takes is, like, seeing... Okay, sure. You see, like, the first screen. He's there, he's just invisible, okay. I think I got him. I guess. Alright, it's like we're playing Mega Drive Prince of Persia 2 all over again. Just glitched out enemies, sure, why not? But that's actually awesome, because if we die now, that guy will stay dead. I think. Did we reach a checkpoint? I think we did. Oh, that's a full heal. Sick. Like, each level, in terms of their layout and shape and puzzle design, like, the original Prince of Persia, in my opinion, does an excellent job of creating distinct and memorable levels that feel... When you get pushed close to a ledge, you do an automatic crouch, which will put away your sword. Yeah, there's a lot of quirks to the combat in this game for sure. That opens the exit. Nice. And this game doesn't really get that, but it's not just because of the tile sets. I think it's also because every single level is sprawling in a fairly similar fashion. And it's okay that the game's sort of level design ethos is different from the original Prince of Persia. I mean, even Prince of Persia 2 feels very different from the original game, for better or for worse. Prince of Persia 2 is like more action heavy for sure. There's more fighting, a little more focused on like set pieces and that kind of stuff. It's like a more intense game in a lot of ways. But I would also say that I prefer the original to Prince of Persia 2, just like I prefer it over this as well. They don't make each other obsolete though. They're all cool games in their own right. Alright, we've got 2 hours left. We're on level 10, I think. Level 14 is as far as we got previous attempt, and I think that was the last or close to last level. So right now we're back to the levels. Around here is where we started the stream on Wednesday. So these levels should feel a little more familiar to play them recently, but there's no guarantees. Oh, the hitboxes. Kind of weird that he got pushed by the door. You don't see any enemy health in this. So is this... Oh my god. A lot of the levels are like this, where you can just go left or right, and one way is going to be the critical path forward, and one is going to be a lengthy detour. Whoa! That was... Okay, probably his corpse did something with that. I just remember he was supposed to the right here. There's just like zero indication as to which is the path forward. And you won't know if you took the detour until you're like almost done with it. So it's funny, I don't remember this level, really. But seeing that with the doors, it's just like I have just a little flimsy memory of, yeah, I remember I died and did this like 50 times, and every time I just went to the right door. So I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. This is the one with the door puzzle. That's where I came from. Wait, hang on. No, I have to go down here. Right. Okay, yep. Haven't been here, I guess. Like, sometimes it feels like the enemies are only vulnerable during certain frames of their animation, which is a little strange. I don't know if that's the case, but it certainly feels like it at times. Yeah, I mean, the game... I think this is just extra shit, but whatever, we're here now. game makes... I mean, you can quite clearly tell what assets were original and which were lifted from somewhere on account of anything that had more than 2 colors was not drawn by the original or drawn by the developer. And the sounds, I think, are also all just taken from the original games. So yeah, it is kind of wild. Okay, so that's how we got here, right? Okay, so that was correct. Yeah, the fact that this is just published on the Xbox Store with all this stuff in it, it's kind of wild. That's definitely part of why I was like, huh, check this game out. I think I take the second door here. Right. No. Alright, let's do this again. Shit. What's over here? Nothing. I just wanted to get fancy and do a running jump instead of a standing jump, and that's what you get. So that's Prince of Persia in a nutshell. It'll punish hubris. That's how it goes. Yeah, stuff like this is so strange. Like the enemy placement here. Like, I don't know. I can't imagine there's actually a way to not take that hit. The ranges are so bizarre in combat. I love those little decorative potted plants, by the way. Too slow, I have to wait. But I mean, yeah, no joke. I mean, anyone who's a fan of Prince of Persia, this game doesn't cost anything. You can get it on the Xbox Store or the Windows 10 store. So, if you're curious, I would definitely recommend checking it out. I've been enjoying it a lot. Like, again, having played through multiple official ports of the original game that might look a little bit prettier, although not all of them do. Not all of them play this well. And you might think that, like, well, yeah, of course it plays like Prince of Persia, but yep. You'd be surprised at how, let's save some time. You'd be surprised how, the multitude of ways in which you can actually screw it up. I think I can jump here. Yep. And this game gets the important stuff right, I would say. An alternate way of getting down there, but I still am not able to avoid taking damage. I've said it before, but yeah, combat is by far my least favorite aspect of this game. Combat is the one part where the game no longer feels reliably predicted. Did the doors stay open for like 2 seconds? It's kind of aggravating. I feel like doesn't really you know, that's one thing that you could argue makes the game harder or more challenging, but it's not really an interesting type of challenge. It's actually something that in my mind only adds frustration and tedium, because you'll find yourself in a situation where, like, oh yeah, I see what's going on here, but I now, in order to give myself enough time to get through this door, I have to deliberately wait for the door to close so that I can open it again. Obviously, you know, if you press a switch for a door that's already open, you will reset the timer, so it'll stay open for as long as it was gonna stay open. The problem is, the timers are so strict that, let's say, for instance, that a door is open for 5 seconds. It might take 2 seconds for the door to open, which means that even if the door stays open for 5 seconds, from pressing the switch to getting to the door, you would have a total of 7 seconds to get through there. And the way the sort of puzzles and like everything is laid out here, you need like 6.8 seconds to get to it, basically. Which is needlessly strict, I feel like. You could go here. Right, no, I remember this. We never actually figured out. I thought this was the exit, because it sure looks like it. But it isn't. So you never come back here again. Or at least you don't have to. You probably come out of that door from someplace else. Some secret area, I guess. We're doing well on time, though. I don't think I need to worry about time. Maybe I'm optimistic, but... See, now I just barely got through there. So as far as the door timers go, like, I actually don't know in the original game if it works the same way, in that, like, you know, timers, that the time spent opening the door actually kind of extends the timer or not. But it is essentially, in every case, a moot point, because simply pressing the button to reset the timer on an already open door will always give you enough time to actually get through it. Right, this part. That's what we're doing. I forgot. Lips. So dry. Alright, so left door first. So if you pick the wrong door, you just go back to where this area starts. Like that other closed door behind us, basically. You just have to redo it. Okay, so let's... There we go, that's fine. So now, we're someplace else. We're past a gate. Oh yeah, I fell down and died there one time. So that's a health extension. Okay. This may have just been completely needless then. But hey, I guess we have the time, so... Should be fine. Oh yeah, this door's open. Where do I go? It's also possible that it's... Now do I go to the left? Maybe I... should have just gone to the left to begin with. Well, makes no difference now. Yep, we were just on that other side, huh? Like, there's very rarely any kind of puzzle or trick to figuring out how to open the exit. Like, quite a few levels in the original game, you find the exit, and you realize, like, alright, cool, I know where the exit is. Now I just gotta figure out where and how to open it. That barely ever happens in this game. Especially not now, because the exit is literally indistinguishable from all those other doors. Were not really a thing in the older games. So, okay. About... I don't know, I probably did something at some point to open some other gate. Let's see if we can actually piece together where we can go where we have not yet been. So I came back from up here, right? Yeah, I came through that door and I dropped down here. Okay. The maps are big, but also sort of like there's a lot of... Just some of these later levels. Actually, even some of the earlier ones, like there's a fair amount of... If not backtracking, at least sort of coming back to areas you've already been in. That was not perfect time. So there's... Okay, that door on the right, I think, used to be closed. Maybe not. The switch up there. No, because I can just get back up there. Door's closed. I'm running in circles here. So confused. Okay, can I shake something loose? No. So that... Oh, maybe I jump... I'm just going in circles now. Plus some other door here. Let's just be thorough. I'm not mad at the game. I'm just annoyed with myself for not thinking about what I'm doing and ending up kind of repeating patterns. I'm not super worried about time though, so it's okay. Faster way of getting down. Yeah, there's no reason to suspect that that would change anything. So, where did that put us? Is my... Did I... Oh, I'm like, the funny thing is the feeling I'm feeling right now of doubt and confusion, that feeling is extremely familiar. I have a very vivid recollection of feeling this exact way, probably on this level, probably in this exact spot. But of course I don't remember at all, you know, sort of how I got past that. Let's just do it. Where is this? Okay. Shake anything loose either. Can I just drop? Yeah, I can. And this just puts us back to that other door. Yep. Alright, that's a full circle. So going left here seemed to only... you can open this gate. Go back there. That just gave me a little health refill or something. Slow. Oh, I got it. Sin Lao, welcome, welcome. Price tag, if you're asking about the game we're currently playing, it is $0 or euros or any other currency. If you mean something else, you'll have to elaborate. Oh, so what am I even freaking trying to achieve? Am I supposed to go down here? Or is that gonna kill me? It might, but fuck it. Alright, so now this puts us back right at the literal beginning of the stage. But I guess I can go... Yeah, we're definitely loading our save file and redoing this, but this puts us... This... I go to the right. I think this is the section where I had originally thought that there's an exit. Maybe not. EL, what is up? Oh no, this is just fucking a big whole pile of nothing right now, looks like. Unless that's a loose tile, that seems likely. What's the most brutal trap? I mean, most of them will kill you, so I'm not sure if there's a meaningful distinction. Alright, so I guess this is new. On here earlier. Alright, sorry, I'm just like, I'm losing my capacity for speech because I'm so perplexed. That's fine. I will say that's one of the things where it's like almost surprising that this game, I feel like that's like the first thing when it comes to like adding features to a game built in the mold of the original Prince of Persia is like coming up with new elaborate death traps and stuff. Like the Super Nintendo port, for example, has a couple of different traps. Even Prince of Persia 2, of course, does. Well, this game, you know, it's pretty modest with its like addition of mechanics in that sense. Because it really only, well, I mean, it's got a few things, I guess. Did we just come? No. We came from the left, but we didn't come through that door. I should have, okay. Yeah, so we could have done this immediately. Okay. So the thing on that top right must be the exit button. That's kind of what I was thinking. But why did I think it was inaccessible? Because I can just get to it now, I think. I don't know. The level design of this is a bit confusing. Yeah, because you can just... Yeah, because I guess we never did actually climb up here. It just went through the door immediately. See, I think I got a little in my own head there, because... Well, but if this doesn't open the exit, I'm definitely even more confused. Yeah. Good. That's a relief. For some reason, I convinced myself that the door back down there at the bottom is not the exit. But it has to be? So, for some reason, my conviction that that was not the exit was the one part of this entire thing that remained in my memory, even though it was completely inaccurate. Yeah, we spent 20 minutes almost, well, 15, 16 on the stage. But hey, if we have like 15 minutes per stage at this point, I feel like. But this is, well, I was gonna say this was a long level. It's not actually a long level. I just took a long time on it. Do a new save here. If I go back to the, if I desperately need more time, we could go back to level 10 and finish it a lot faster. I've been going for a bit. I think it's time to take a short break. This game is I keep, every single time I play it, I keep being surprised somehow by how sort of mentally taxing this game is to play. Like, it requires so much focus, even more so than the original in a lot of ways, because of the level design. There's a lot to kind of mentally keep track of, which is a little bit exhausting. It's still fun to play though. But yeah, I'm gonna take my eyes off my monitor for a couple of minutes, stretch my legs and move around a little bit. And hey, if you've been sitting on your ass for 2 hours, maybe you should too. I'll be away for a couple of minutes. I'll play some ads, not because I'm eager to fleece everyone for their hard-earned cash, but I have to try to remember to do this every now and then when I'm on a break anyway, because it there's gonna be ads on the stream no matter what, unless of course you are a subscriber. And by manually playing ads during the breaks, I can avoid pre-roll ads for a little bit for anyone who might join the stream. But of course, I'll only play ads when I'm on break or not doing anything anyway. In any case, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. So, see you guys then for more hot Prince of Persia action. Alright. I have returned. Let's keep going, shall we? Did I save? I guess I saved. Alright, level 11. What, 4 levels left or something? Man, again, speaking of the lack of kind of distinguishing characteristics of the levels, the first half of the game I played like 2 weeks ago, so it's not terribly surprising that I wouldn't remember all that in detail. These later levels I played 3 days ago, and everything is already like fully bleeding together. I'm curious if this is the... That's the wrong button, there we go. This is the one with the outdoor stuff. It's probably 12 or 13 though. Well, not going back up there. That was a poorly timed jump. Is this the direction I went? Let's find out. No, I think I went the other way the other time. No, I didn't. Alright, well. So silly. Definitely getting a lot better at dealing with the combat stuff. So let's see what's over here. I have a feeling that that part to the bottom right might just be a on a bonus thing. Well, okay, this looks like something I have to do. I do big like. Every little interaction like that, as it happens, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I recall seeing this. But I have no recollection of the grander kind of scheme of things. But hey. That means I can't just go on autopilot. I mean, if I were to go back and play really any version of the original at this point, I definitely would not like you know, the first few levels maybe I'd feel like I know them sort of by heart. But I would say after level 3 or 4 or so, that's like sort of back to just figuring out as you go along. Okay, I do recall this, because you have to go around and you come back up. On that other side, yeah. That does something. Oh yeah, you have to go through here before that closes, right? I remember this. And this will take us up to on the left-hand side. I do vaguely recall doing this like multiple times. Like I said, there's several levels in this where you kind of either backtrack or kind of just sort of take multiple laps. There is a health extension on this level that I got because I remember you come back through here after getting it. And you don't need that health. Yeah, that's poison down there. I do remember that. Of course, I didn't remember that there was a thing until I saw it, but I remember it now. Okay, nothing down there. Let's see. Alright, we'll sneak past this. For a split second, I thought I was holding the wrong button, and I was gonna run right into it, but I'll just keep sneaking. You never know. Screen transitions can be devious in this game. Yeah, see, now we're back here on the left side. That diamond will kill you if you touch it. And it'll start sort of targeting you. You see, yeah. So you have to wait for it to move away. Right, so here I was formulating this idea that probably that thing was gonna like dash towards us, so you have to like drop down really quick. But that thing actually like stays stationary. That said, you don't have time to wait for the door. That's why I opted to just drop down quickly anyway, take damage. That's probably the exit. Yep. Oh yeah. You don't have to go through here. I remember it's like a trap. I don't remember how or why exactly, but I remember wanting to do the vertical jumps to shake loose the tile and then accidentally going through the doorway, which I didn't mean to do, and then being like, oh, and then I had to like redo some shit because of that. So you're actually supposed to pass through here. I do remember that. Right! It's this level. Right, okay. Okay, so passing through here doesn't exactly help, but do that fucking drawing. So that's the exit on the top right. Right, okay. It's not that you're not supposed to go through here, but you need to drop the tile first. So if you haven't dropped that tile, then you have to go, like, redo the entire level, basically. So, let's see. Yeah, that leads up to the exit. Yo, what's good, opponent? Happy Saturday. Not sure. Like I said, there is a health extension somewhere, because I remember, like, redoing... I don't think this is going to lead us anywhere, but it might take us to the exit screen, but I'm on the right-hand side, so yeah. Right, so I can actually clear the level now. And I'm gonna, because I feel fairly confident that I have all the health that I need. If I end up choosing... Yeah, so the first attempt I did on this stage, first life, definitely would have taken me towards the health extension, which is kind of what I was thinking, but then I died because I jumped into a trap or something. If I end up sort of inadvertently collecting a health extension by accidentally taking the bonus detour instead of progressing towards the end of the level, then so be it. I'm not necessarily gonna restart a level to save time in that case. But if I get to the exit, I'm not gonna stop to take the detour. Forward momentum is more important at this point, I feel. Alright, that was stage 11. Save? At this point, we might as well do new saves here. Why not? Yeah, just out of curiosity. 93 minutes. Our old save here should be like, yeah, 10 minutes. So as long as we don't take over an hour on this stage, we'll end up with decent margin. Oh, that's... Alright, fine, whatever. Like, it's really hard to block immediately after taking a step forward in a way that feels a little weird and not the way the original game behaved. Well, that's like... Whoops. Ah! I pressed the B button. We'll do this over, that's fine. It's just... It can be frustrating. But I do recall that the enemies start being a lot more bothersome. At this point. Alright, I'll take the hit, but at least I only take one hit now. So, like, it's easy if you're able to position yourself correctly. Sometimes you get sort of out of sync, that rhythm. Oh, yeah, this is the outdoor stuff. It's so sick. And when that happens, it's, like, really hard to position yourself correctly in time. So many many screens like this, which is like these like massive vertical climbs. Let's see what's here, I guess. No particular reason to believe that that's going to help me, but... Right. That was kind of stupid, I think, but it's fine. As far as detours go, that was actually a pretty quick one, so sure, why not? I mean, I still don't know where I'm supposed to go anyway, so... That was just like 2 screens to get the health, so sure. Perfect. Yeah, see, if I'm at this range, my attack, like, won't reach. Okay. Could this be the exit? I mean, sure, it could. But actually, no. Because we have to go to the other building. That would make any sense. Very hard to avoid taking damage. Alright, okay, good. We needed to do that. Get through that trap. However we get there. That's good. It's almost as if something about the level design is guiding us to do things in the correct order, but it might also just be blind luck. Although I guess if you make it to this screen, you can just drop down on that left-hand side and get to the switch, so that's nice. Of course, you'd have to know that that's supposed to do, but... Feels like we're making fairly smooth progress? Maybe? I don't know. I don't know that we are, but it kind of feels like we are. This should reasonably take us to the outer wall. That was scary.
Excellent.
Yeah, here we go. Ash Richard, what's up? Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Right, so you have to do a running jump here, I guess. Shit's so sick. Hella awkward, but... I think there's a checkpoint here? Yes, okay, there we go. Oh, this... Oh, fuck, it's this level. Right. With the swords. Right, okay. Yeah, we were stuck here for a long time. I think I mostly remember what we need to do. Because the exit is... Well, there's enemies here, so we can take care of them first. Yeah, the exit is here to my right, I believe. Oh, there's... another screen in between. No, it's not, because it's in between the fucking media. Okay. The next level down here is where we get the flame. There's an enemy here somewhere. Oh, cool, okay. Maybe it depends on which direction you go through it. Now we get the shadow. Shadow and the flame, I guess? I haven't actually finished Prince of Persia 2, so I guess that's a thing. Yeah, so I guess I didn't actually do all of it correctly when I finished, but I did finish. Oh, it's so weird. Okay. Alright, we gotta go climbing. Oh, I'm transparent now. I guess it didn't look transparent before. That's kind of a cool thing if that little portal, you have to pass through it from the left and from the right to get like the different forms, whatever. Alright, we have to do a running jump here. Yeah, I'm definitely not transparent here, but I am outside. That's kind of peculiar. Yeah, the bridge raising sound is extremely high quality. Thou'st must be to take, but because I am Shadow, I may take Shadow. So now I have a Shadow sword. And I also have a regular sword. And it's weird. Because it seems like you kind of pull out a sword at random. But you have multiple weapons, and that's apparently a mechanic. Someone in chat, I forget their name, they kind of explained some of this stuff. As I was playing it last time. Apparently you need all of it for some boss. No, okay. What the heck? Is there a different level below? Maybe. Because I only, like, if you don't have, if thou'st try to take without being, no, okay, yeah, it's just different. There we go. I didn't realize these were two different rooms. Which you know, understandably perhaps, because everything looks the same. If you try to take either sword without having the flame or the shadow, you die instantly. You die, but because you've passed a checkpoint, you actually keep the sword anyway. But the game, like, doesn't... There's some kind of trigger that maybe doesn't happen. But, so when I was playing this last time, I had collected both swords. I had all three swords. Okay, that guy it wasn't that interested in fighting. But yeah, the swords, either sword will kill him in one hit. But yeah, so I was able to kind of collect them. And I did finish the stage eventually, even though I clearly didn't do everything correctly. But I definitely didn't get the shadow properly last time. So I remember being extremely confused about that too. That's just a full health, that's fine. That, like, hang on. I already got the swords, but how am I being, like, where's the exit? And so I know where the exit is. Now, I now know how to get the swords legitimately, I guess. So this should take us, yeah. So I will actually, unlike last time, we will correctly do what we need to do to get both swords without everything bugging out, I guess, which is nice. See, I pulled this sword. Oh, he took multiple hits now. I think I just need to go through a gate here. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we'll get both swords legitimately. Very good sound. And I know where to get to the exit, but how do I open it? Maybe I go to the very bottom. So the thing that confuses me really is the idea of... Okay, so that actually opens the exit. So how the fuck did I'm pretty sure I didn't do this properly. Like, obviously, that's the whole thing, right? You're supposed to collect both swords. That opens the exit, and then that's the end of the level. I was gonna say, I think there's a guy here. Can't see shit with this big-ass flame, but that's fine. Oh, that's confusing. Whatever. We did it with no deaths, so we didn't get any glitched respawns. So we get to experience the level the way it was intended. That's cool. So now level 13. I thought 13 was the one that had all that stuff, but I guess that was level 12. Oh, we can save over this. 82 minutes, yeah. We had 10 minutes here on my last save. And I was like ready to wrap up the stream last time, and then whoops. That's the wrong button. And then I kind of somewhat accidentally cleared this stage. Yeah, so that is this stage, okay, yeah. Even with our buff swords, we don't want to try to fight these guys. Because in fact, you do not have to. But because I was actually able to finish this stage, I feel like this has to be a pretty short stage. Over here. A peculiar screen. Okay, we turn around and we go back. Through here or something. Yeah, so you have to like sheath your sword and pull out a new one and just hope that you get a better sword. Let's see, that was a loose tile up there for sure. There we go. I don't know how wide this thing is, so okay, yeah. Guess if it's one tile, you'll see. Like, look the way I land. If I jump a 2-tile gap like this, you see where I end up? So you can't do a jump like that onto a 1-tile wide platform or you'll fall down. So when it's at the end of the screen, like, you don't really know, you know? Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh, well, okay. I think this might fall, is what I was thinking. Okay, it didn't. Game's definitely making very liberal use of loose tiles. I mean, so did the original. It's a very, very clever mechanic. This game, however, can be a little bit of a dick about it sometimes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that jump actually killed me last time. Good. I was really scared there because I never sneak past the jaw traps in this game, so it just dawned on me that I wasn't even sure how it was going to behave. And in fact, it did behave a little strangely. Oh, okay. Dude, there's like no way I can make it. Oh, alright, okay, that was fucking tight. Okay. We did it though. First try even. I'm getting used to this game's arcane mechanics. So, how do I get back to those dudes at the beginning is my question. Maybe they're below here. Yep, they sure are. Yeah, this level feels like way more linear than a lot of the others. Whoa. Slip through there. There we go. So now we're ghost. These guys are still a little fidgety. They sense something. But they'll let you just run by. I do like the fact that this game has some like unique potions like that. Ah, yeah, I do recall seeing this. Wait, there's gotta be shit back there, but you know what? I don't really care. We're good. Yeah, so that is a pretty short level, yeah. Yeah, it took us like 5 minutes this time too. So 76 minutes as opposed to like the 3 minutes or whatever, 5 minutes we had. Last time we got to level 14. So this may or may not be the final stage. Say over level 9, I guess. Again, I forget the person's name, but someone in chat had played this before. And I don't think we even like really made an attempt at all on this level. I don't remember. But apparently we're very close to the end of the game. So we'll see. We're kind of headed into flying territory here for the first time today. Yeah, I think I got to this stage with like a couple of minutes left, and I didn't even, I don't think I even explored or anything. I just like, yeah, you know what, we'll save this. Here we are. Assuming that's gonna open this gate. Okay, let's just go up and take a look first. As long as I don't like passing through a one-way door without checking. Damn it, I want a better sword. I guess I should holster this to increase my odds of getting a other sword the next time I enter combat. Like, oh, that's interesting. That just instantly activated. I don't know. I don't think I would want separate buttons for each of the swords necessarily, but like some kind of modifier or like holding a direction when pulling your sword out or something, or at least give the player control. Like having it be random is kind of the worst. Because the thing is, like, it would seem logical, if not, you know, still inconvenient, but at least logical if they're like in a cycle, so that but at least you know that they're in the same order. But from my testing last time, that did not appear to be the case. Okay, so I just need to strategize a little bit here. This is actually pretty fucking tricky. It's exactly what I didn't want to happen, but I don't think I could have avoided it. Or if I would have fallen down. Okay. Okay, let's ignore the doors and just practice getting there. So if I do a running jump here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to basically do that and just run through the... Okay. What's up, Good and Cool? Surprise mechanics. Yeah, this game has a lot of those. Ah, almost. I would probably have had time to stop there. Okay, so... Ah, okay. I was gonna say, hey, this is where I ended up, and that's why that thing activates instantly, just to tell you that you can't go that way. Well, that means this level is probably kind of linear. I didn't go up to the left from down here, though, so let's take a look at that and see where that takes us. If anywhere. Well, I can tell you right now that it won't, because literally nothing there. So I didn't, in fact, need to go down to this level. I could have just probably... Oh, no, I guess that door would have been closed, yeah. It looks like this level is pretty much entirely linear. Like every branching path is kind of an illusion, if you will. So he doesn't like fall on a switch or anything, but could I have gone down? Yeah, I guess I could have gone to the bottom right there, and maybe there would have been something there. I doubt that it's crucial, though. There is definitely a corner that I did not actually explore, but... back here. Knowing the route here, get back there quickly enough. I need to wait for the door, though, because I need the extra second or two that I get from waiting for them to actually open. So what's over here? There was... oh, that's a health extension over there. That's probably where going to that bottom right would have taken me. So I don't mind skipping that. I would have had time for it probably, but I don't mind skipping it. Unless going over here is where it would take... that's actually even probably more likely. Well, might as well explore. I can't really take anything for granted, frankly. So... alright, that's a big-ass jump. Satisfying, though. Waiting for the delay. Ooh, okay. I guess I needed this. Probably has a limited time, though. The only other time that happens in the game previously, you finish you literally walk across the screen to the exit. So the effect is probably not there anymore. I was gonna say, this seems like a safe enough place to test it. maybe not. Yeah. That was cool. That was a really cool little way they did that. And we got the extra health, and it wasn't a massive detour either. Maybe the exit then? The way you... well, I was gonna say the way you sort of sneak through doors, or rather don't in this game, feels a little weird. Oh, okay, so this probably puts us back to the bridge, maybe? Yeah. Oh, okay, what's here, though? Oh, nothing. I think that I went that lower right area either? Oh, that was a switch. I was like, wait, how did that open? Like, it's a combination. Like, the doors are, the timing on the doors is so much more strict in this game. But squeezing through a closing door is also harder. Oh, man. It's just, I'm there's a lot more left than I thought, I guess, on this level. No checkpoint so far either. See, those shouldn't collapse, right? Yeah, he's just he just walked right over them. Oh. Stepped on a switch. Probably raising the same bridge. Yeah, okay. Just the fucking excellent sound design of that game. Okay, so there's some plotted plants. Potted plants up there, so there's more level up there. Could conceivably, because that should not like tie back into anything. But I like this level. Like it's been this level more so than maybe most. I've had a just on account of being so just like focused on verticality. Huh. Just makes it feel like distinctive. Alright, there's a checkpoint. Hey man, this game... This game has 0 issues. Alright, got him. That was a little awkward, but it worked out. Checkpoint right there though, which means these guys are gonna be still dead also. Problem with the flame sword is you can't fucking see shit when you have it equipped. Alright, they both killed me, that's fine. Oh, okay. That surprised me. Because usually, when you kill dudes... Actually, let's... There we go. I prefer this weapon. Oh, they're like a fucking perfect sync. Yeah, I need to fucking bait them around the screen transition because they won't really attack. Alright. Gonna be a bit tricky. But I can at least do this better by making sure that I have a decent sword out. Yeah, the way their attacks like overlap, that's the biggest issue if there's more of them. We're headed into some kind of late stage gauntlet here. Alright, sure, I'll take it. Just holster that to make sure we get a better sword. Fucking game of death power type shit here. Just moving from screen to screen with a little staircase. That's pretty sick, not gonna lie. Back here. Not that it's particularly similar, but the focus on verticality reminds me a little bit of the final stage of the original game, which is also just this big vertical climb. Very cool stage, by the way. Little switch there on the floor by a closed door. That could be the exit. Whoa, 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 whoa. Like, what's this? No, okay, we're just... Like, what's the deal with... Coming... Whoa, okay. Coming out of doors facing the wrong way. I don't know, I probably should have just kept running, but... Okay, yes, I should have. But I would have never thought to jump. So it's okay. But hey, unique stage exits, that's sick. That's awesome. Alright, just chilling. My hot air balloon that was just hovering there, waiting for me to jump into it. Well, maybe it's magic, I don't know. I mean, I guess we're gonna have to, like, fight the witch, right? It's not in the castle, I guess. Unless that wasn't the Crystal Castle. Maybe that was the Citrus Castle, now we're going to the Crystal Castle. Landing somewhere. Big balloon. Oh shit, alright, we're back home. I mean, I guess she would be here, that would make sense. Yo, this is pretty sick. Yeah, the little garden from the intro. We just fall out of this? No, we just land. Boom. Oh, level 15. Alright, dude, that was pretty awesome. Alright, got some exciting music here. Yeah, I would not have had time to get through this if I didn't start the game over, so I'm glad we did. I'm gonna assume that this is gonna be a short level. Oh shit! Symbol from the intro. Oh! Cutscene. So, thou did not perish in those cursed mountains. No matter, I shall deal with you myself. Oh, right, okay. Alright, I see. Okay. I should wait to see which sword is coming up. Yeah, I figured that this would be like not a big old stage. Yep, this is not. Ooh, I pressed the B button. Not cancelable, I guess. Alright, they'll always start from like the far end though, so they're probably like increasing in speed, maybe. I don't know. Oh shit! Oh, I can't even hit him, I see. Oh, okay. This is kind of a novel concept. Maybe not executed super well, but... Oh. Too many big-ass flames. Alright. I have to kind of advance a little bit to get into range. Ah! Okay. Having defeated the witch, her spell over the land was broken. Once again, the prince has saved his kingdom. And the people of Persia celebrated his victory. Once again, standing on the balcony. That day forward, the prince and princess lived happily ever after. Fucking finally. This dude has gone through some pretty serious ordeals. Whoa. Did you guys see that? Yo, the cliffhanger ending. You won! Time left 61 minutes. And we got however many Christmas baubles. Finish. Is this gonna like exit the application? No? Okay, fair enough. I was gonna say no staff roll or whatever, but I mean I guess it was made by one dude, so No attribution of where certain art and music assets come from, but hey, whatever. It's Prince of Persia. It's all good. Well, we did it. We finished Fanmade Prince of Persia 2.5, The Crystal Castle. And what an adventure. What an adventure. Thank you for the GGs. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Like, a lot of this game is definitely, obviously, very, unpolished, certainly from an aesthetic point of view. Functionally, certain things are definitely a bit janky. Um, the final boss, I mean, there's a final boss. That's pretty sick. Um, I think there's a lot of stuff in this game that's interesting, but then not necessarily done that much with. But it's so cool. You have these little interactions where you cut the rope, like all the little set pieces for a game of this length. I think it has like a comparable number of memorable set pieces to the original game. It's got like you cut down the bridge, you have to find the white elixir to ride the cloud. You do that like death defying leap to the hot air balloon. You see the the MS Paint image on the wall, and you have to kind of deduce that hey, I guess drinking this potion is going to make me walk on air, so I can walk across here to the exit. Which it's pretty self-explanatory. It works. Like for everything that's very non-unique and repetitive about the level design and the visuals, it still has a few of those very cool moments. And even just like the part where you go outside, the first part where you climb on top of the mountain, of course, but I'm thinking of the buildings on like stage 12 or 13, whatever it was. There's like the ambient wind sound on the outside. You can sort of scale the building and everything. And the concept of the multiple swords, I think that's like, for me, this game, I really can't help but see it in the sort of the through the lens of how it plays with the mechanics, like how it sort of expands on the original game. Because Prince of Persia 2 is similar in some ways in that it's like obviously building on the foundation of the original game, and then it adds some bits and pieces on top of it. But I feel like what it does mostly is that it adds more enemies and different sort of enemy types. Most of the stuff you have to deal with, like there's some different types of traps, I want to say. But it's got like the snakes that can kill you in one hit. You have to like stab them super awkwardly or sort of jump over them. Like the challenge of Prince of Persia 2 is a lot more finicky. And that game, similar to this, has like a shit ton of health extensions everywhere, and they're sort of optional. And oftentimes you have to, like the challenge in Prince of Persia 2, a lot of it comes from that risk reward management of, do I want to try to get this health extension knowing that it will not just take time to get it, but I'm likely to die, costing me even more time if I try to get it, and stuff like that. I haven't finished it, but I played through quite a bit of it, most of it. And it's been a while now. It's been like a year since I played it, so of course I don't remember everything in detail. You do, if I recall, you do get like different swords. Not multiple swords, but you have your sword and then you lose it. You can get a different sword, and it's like more powerful. You notice that enemies, because yeah, enemies take like half health points, and then you get a better sword, so you do like full damage and stuff, and that's very satisfying. I guess maybe it's a stretch to say that this game does more like mechanically. Obviously, Prince of Persia 2 is visually more exciting, and it's definitely got more set pieces that feel a little more integrated in the mechanics and the gameplay. Like there's that stuff on a fairly early level where there's a skeleton on a rickety bridge. And in fact, that's where you lose your sword. You have to fight the skeleton, and you have to like, through a very precise series of inputs and movements, which I was able to figure out. I was able to intuit what you were supposed to do and how you were supposed to do it. And I remember people in chat being like, "Oh yeah, this is like." People had like alluded to it when I got to that level. It's like, "Oh yeah, this level has an impossible puzzle. You'll never figure it out. It's super stupid." And I got to the bridge, and it's like, okay, so the bridge falls, but maybe you're supposed to like hang onto the ledge and whatever. You trick the skeleton to falling down because you can't kill the skeleton by dealing damage, and you need it to like fall down on some side. I forget exactly the specifics of it, but it's something like that. You go out on this rope bridge, and you have to like position yourself specifically so that the skeleton comes at you and then you like turn around, and as the bridge falls, you're able to grab the ledge. And when you do that, your sword like whoop just falls out of little sword sprites fall. It looks a little goofy, but that was like a really cool moment. And PoP 2 has plenty of those. So yeah, maybe it's a stretch to say that this game has more mechanical like advancements in terms of the core gameplay, but I do think the idea of multiple weapons, it's only really used for that one fight, and that works well enough. And I don't know exactly how much more you could squeeze out of it, but it's cool. I know. Hey, I'm glad that it's not a thing that's introduced 2/3 of the way through the game, and then for the last third, every enemy, like every encounter is like that. That you have to pick the right sword, and it's like that would be bad. As it is, it's a little clunky, it's a little inconvenient, but it's not, it's not a big deal. It's not a problem. It's not an issue. This game has 0 issues, and it was very cool, all things considered. Like for something I just bumped into completely at random, had no idea what to expect. I ended up having a really, really good time playing this game, and I would definitely suggest anyone with an Xbox One or newer Xbox or with Windows 10, if you're so inclined, just go to the store and search for Prince of Persia, and this will come up. I guess even if you don't, I'm sure you can just download it from the developer's website, I would guess. I need to check that out, by the way, because let's take a quick look. Game card. A fan-made continuation of the DOS Prince of Persia 1989 and 1993 games. That's quite the description. Oh yeah, there's the rope bridge that well, not the rope bridge I was talking about just now, but in this game, you have to climb up this the screen above this and just cut the rope with your sword, and the bridge will like fall down so you can cross it. That's a pretty cool thing. What I wanted to oh yeah, we reviewed this. We gave this 5 stars last time. I feel good about that. Set after the end of the second game, play as the heroic prince who once again has to save his kingdom from the forces of darkness. Your adventures will take you from mysterious mountains to a foreign castle, with many puzzles behind every corner. Fight enemies, drink potions, and avoid traps as you navigate new terrain in this exciting sequel. In addition to your courage, you will also need your tested strength to climb, jump, and negotiate platforms over towering heights. But you must be careful, as every step could be your last. I mean, that's not inaccurate. To learn more, visit... There you go. There's, you know what? I'm gonna forget. I'm not gonna, like, do this on stream. I'm just gonna open a tab. sites.math.washington.edu/tilde-h-grebnev hash E ampersand isometry %20 studios /a ampersand intro.html. Is that gonna get us there? Yes, this website sure looks like a continuation of a 1993 website. All right. Sick. I'm gonna have to look through this later. But yeah, we average rating. You guys get on this. Not enough reviews for this game. This went very well. We finished this with plenty of time to spare. And I think at this point, I'm definitely. We have stuff to do. Of course, there's always games to play. We still have a little pile of game for my. Well, it's not even all. Oh, whatever. We got some games over here for my most recent unboxing. But I think right now I'm more excited because I had it all set up and everything to just take a quick look at the Game Boy version of Prince of Persia. I played through like half a level of it when I first tested the EverDrive the other week, and I immediately could tell that it's a very strange controlling version. So it might be hard to play. I don't exactly know. It's certainly not. I don't know. It's weird. So that might prove a challenge, but if not, I feel like we should hopefully be able to just sort of breeze through that. We'll maybe we'll finish, maybe we won't, but let's do like one attempt at Game Boy Prince of Persia. But I think before we do that, it's another good time to take a short break, because I won't be wanting to take breaks in the middle of that, I don't think. But yeah, I feel very satisfied that we were able to finish this. It was a good game. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes with more Prince of Persia. See you guys then.